In our Dharma sharing family yesterday, there were people who shared that they come to Plum Village every year for the summer opening, and they don't know why. When packing their luggage before coming, they think, wouldn't it be nice to go to the beach? Why am I not going to the beach? It will be so much nicer. Yeah. But there is something that pulls them back to Plum Village. They're not quite sure what, but they have to keep coming every year. So I think there's something special about Plum Village that you don't find at the beach. Even there may be things at the beach that you don't find in Plum Village, like the sea, where on a hot day you may really like to go for a swim. But here we go for a swim in the Sangha, and whether it's hot or cold, the Sangha is always there to support us. And I think that is why every year we want to come back. We want to come back and we want to take a bath in the Sangha body. We want to be again a cell in the Sangha body. Because deep down we know that we are not an individual self. And our highest aspiration, our deepest wish for this planet and for the future generations, that is something that we share with other people. And when we come together with other people who also have that deep aspiration to do their best for the planet, to do their best for the future generation, then we feel that we have that support. It's so important for us. And of course in Plum Village we have a great deal of fun. We don't just sit down and complain about what is going wrong in the world. We get in touch with what is going right in the world. And what is going right is that the trees are still there for us to hug. And hugging a tree is a wonderful practice. And the Sangha is still there to protect us. The brothers and sisters are still there to come up and sing Namo Valo. And our lay brothers and sisters are still there in order to be able to bring their families. And it's not just the grown-ups who feel pulled back to Plum Village, the children do too. And although at first they may say, I don't know if I want to go this year, I think I might like to be with my friends. Once they come back in Plum Village and they meet their friends in Plum Village, then they feel they're at home. And I think the children, they feel very safe in Plum Village. I don't think anyone is going to shout at them or scold them, and they don't have to be in competition with each other. They don't have to do homework. And so I think they feel very at ease, without stress, and very safe, even though they don't have the sea to swim in. And today I would like to talk about the breathing. This morning we practiced breathe, and you know you are alive. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to breathe. There was that very difficult moment after you were just born, when you had to expel the liquid from your lungs and take your first breath. Before that, your mother had been breathing for you. And when you took that first breath, you knew that you'd survived. You'd survived the difficult moment. And from then on, you've continued to breathe. And so your breathing is something very close to you and very normal for you. But your breathing at the same time is also a miracle. It is itself the miracle of being alive. And your breathing, it connects your body to your spirit and helps your body and your spirit to become one. Because matter and spirit are just two sides of the same reality, and they like to become one. And it's the breath that is the bridge that brings the matter, the body, and the spirit together. So a very long time ago, in nearly 2,600 years ago, the Buddha was suggesting that we use the breathing as a basic practice. But you don't have to be a Buddhist in order to be able to use the breathing as your basic practice. It is something that you don't need any religion in order to practice, and something that you can practice throughout the day, every day, and every night. Your breathing is taking care of you. It's taking care of your body and your mind. Your breathing is bringing your body and your mind together so that your mind can take care of your body and your body can take care of your mind. And those two things no longer have to be separate. If you are sitting in front of the television, if you are sitting in front of the computer, your eyes and your ears, your eyes consciousness, your ears consciousness, they are pulling you out of your body into the computer or into the television screen. And so every now and then you need to stop and recognize, I have a body. Because you may have forgotten that you have a body. And when you recognize that, it's already enough to bring your mind and your body back together. Back together where? In the here and in the now. One year, two friends who came to Plum Village, they were talking about whether they would come to Plum Village another year. And so one friend said to the other, are you going to Plum Village this year? And the other friend said, I don't know. Every year, all I hear is breathing in and breathing out. And the other friend said, come along, let's go. I know this year they're going to talk about breathing up and breathing down. So this is exercise number 1. Breathing in, this is the in-breath. Breathing out, this is the out-breath. It's a simple, what we call mere recognition. The end of the in-breath is the beginning of the out-breath. And the end of the out-breath is the beginning of the in-breath. So you just recognize that. In and out. And you can do that at any time of the day, wherever you are. If you are sitting on the bus, coming to the other hamlet, as you look out of the window at the scenery, you feel this is in-breath, this is out-breath. And because you're connected to yourself, you're connected to everything that is around you. So in and out is called the mere recognition of your in-breath and your out-breath. And you can practice that at any time. But the important thing is that there is just the in-breath and just the out-breath. It's not breathing in, what are we going to have for lunch, and breathing out, I don't know, or something like that. It's just wholly there with the in-breath and wholly there with the out-breath. So you don't need to think about anything when you breathe like that. And because it's not easy for us, we're not trained always to concentrate like that without any thinking. Some people will practice breathing in 1 and count 1, and breathing out and count 1, and then up to 10, and then back again. Because if you count, then you have something to think about. But it's not anything that will distract you, so it's okay to just use 1 to 10. Another thing you can do is you can use your body as well, so that when you breathe in, you can do something like this, and when you breathe out, you can do like this. You can have your hand in your pocket, so in and out, and because your body is involved as well, it will be a little bit easier for you to concentrate. So we do the in-out until our mind is beginning to be calm. And this will help our mind to be calm. The one thing is that we don't want to force our breath at all. We want it to be quite natural. So don't try and make your breath long or make any effort with your body when you're breathing. Just allow your breathing to be as it wants to be. And then you will find that your breathing actually would like to be a little bit longer. It would like to be a little bit deeper. Your lungs would appreciate that. And so you just allow the breath to be a little bit longer and deeper for your lungs to be happier. It's the same when you do walking meditation. You don't force your lungs, but you just allow your lungs to arrive. And if your lungs like 2 steps, then you let them have 2 steps. But if they prefer 3, and later on they may prefer 3, you allow them to have 3 steps. Arrived. Home. And you may find that your out-breath is longer than your in-breath. One time Thai had me sit with Thai near a clock, and the clock, it goes tick, tick, tack, tick, tack, tick, tack every second. And Thai said, we're going to breathe in rhythm with the clock. So we have the clock, and then we can just see how many tic-tac for the in-breath, how many tic-tac for the out-breath. And it's like a metronome. And our breath is like music going along with the tic-tac of the clock. And so that also helps you to concentrate. And if you find it difficult to go to sleep and you have a clock, you listen to the tic-tac and you breathe with it, and then you can fall asleep more easily. And every day we hear the bell, we hear the telephone. I think it's very nice when you hear the telephone that you can breathe. Maybe that time you were still breathing, but you forgot that you were breathing. And now you hear the telephone and you remember, oh, I have my breath to come back to. And so hearing the telephone, you breathe in and out before you answer the telephone. And then you'll be a very compassionate Avalokiteshvara when you speak and you listen on the telephone. Because before you answer the telephone, you make yourself fresh and kind with your breathing. So the second exercise you need to concentrate a little bit more is called the whole length of the breathing. So when you breathe in, you notice that there's a moment when your in-breath is born. And then it stays a little bit and then it dies. We can use the word birth and death for the in-breath. It doesn't really born, it doesn't really die, but we can use the word. So, breathing in, you notice when the in-breath is born, and then you notice when it dies. And at that point, as soon as it dies, the out-breath is born. And then the out-breath will die, and then the in-breath will be born. So this is also a very good training for you, because there will be a day when you breathe out your last out-breath, but after that something else will be born. So we practice noticing the breath all the way through, so we can see when it's born, how it lives, how it dies, and then something else is born, and then that dies, and then something else is born. So that is the second. It's called the whole length of your in-breath. And there may be a time when you feel a little bit angry or irritated, and you don't want your anger or your irritation to grow any bigger. So that is a very good time to practice this. You just close your eyes, don't listen anymore, and notice the whole length of your in-breath, and you stay with the breath the whole way in and the whole way out. And in that way your anger, your irritation cannot grow. All it can do is get smaller. But you have to not listen, not look, and also not think. Because if you think about the person who's making you angry, it will help your anger to grow. So the best thing is just concentrate on your breath. One time the Buddha said that it's like on a very hot day, and then a cloud comes and covers the sun, and there is a feeling of coolness. And your breath is like that. It can give us a feeling of coolness in our body. It's like also that if you, on a hot day, you have a glass of orange juice, then you drink the orange juice and you feel that the coolness goes into every cell of your body. So the breath can also go into every cell of our body. And that is the third exercise. Because now, with the help of our breathing, our mind has come back to our body. And our mind is completely with our body. So that means that we can be aware of our body and aware of our whole body from the head to the toe. So breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I am aware of my whole body. And what is your body? What is it that you are aware of? Your body is energy. Basically, what you are aware of is the energy that is in your body. Your body is both matter and energy. So normally when we look at our body in the mirror or we look at somebody else's body, we have an idea of what it looks like, what a body looks like. But when we practice mindful breathing and we come back to our whole body, we have an idea of what our body feels like. We don't use our eyes, we use something that is called proprioception. And proprio means yourself, and perception, you know what that means. So when you practice this breathing, you are aware of your body energy. You're aware of the energy you feel as your body. You are aware of where your body is, what it touches, what is outside, like sitting on the cushion. You're aware of the cushion, or you're aware of your feet. And you're aware of the air that your body is in touch with. And it's wonderful, because when you are aware of your body, quite naturally you take care of your body. You know, I use the word you. I say you are aware of your body. You take care of your body. But in fact, it's not quite like that. Our language is like that. You are aware of your body. You take care of your body. But in meditation, what it is the awareness of the body takes care of the body. The very awareness takes care of the body. That so-called you doesn't need to do anything. Just bring up the awareness and already the body is being taken care of. And also there are wonderful things we can recognize when we practice this exercise. We can recognize something else is this body is not really my body. Just imagine my father and my mother had never been there. How would this body be there? So this body is mother's body, is father's body, is grandmother's, grandfather's body. And when you're aware of your whole body in a deep way, you will see oh, this body is not mine. If I take out from this body my mother, if I take out from this body my father, my grandparents, this body is no longer this body. So this is the practice already on the third breathing. You are already in touch with interbeing. Maybe before that you were in touch with interbeing because you know that the in-breath and the out-breath inter-are. If there was no in-breath, there couldn't possibly be an out-breath, and vice versa. The Buddha said, relax the whole body. So aware of the whole body, relax the whole body. You could also say, let the body rest. You could also say, let the body be at peace. Allow the body to be peaceful. The word used in Pali has to do with peace. Make the body peaceful. And the word in Chinese has to do with relaxation. But you will recognize that these things are connected. A peaceful body is a body that is relaxed. The stress we feel in our mind, it also goes into our body. The stress of our body, it goes into our mind. And so when we practice relaxing our body, we are also relaxing our mind. And it's wonderful to be able to lie down, to let go of everything, and let your body rest completely. But there are sometimes you can't lie down. You have to remain sitting, or you have to remain walking or standing. But that doesn't mean to say that you can't breathe and rest your whole body as you're sitting, as you are standing, as you are walking. So when you next have to queue up for your lunch or your washing up or whatever, you can practice relaxing your body. Breathing in, I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, I rest. I relax my whole body. Remember that the whole body means every cell in your body. And the cells in your body are closely connected to each other. So relaxing some cells in your body is relaxing, helping other cells in your body to relax. So one place you can start is with your smile. Actually, the smile is very relaxing. Your smile, it gives a message to your brain and tells your brain that everything's okay. You don't have to be afraid or worry about anything. That is the message the smile gives. So when you smile to somebody else, you give them that message. I'm your friend, you don't have to worry about me. So when you were a bird, when you were a worm, in your past lives, because human species is very young, not been around as long as the birds and the worms. When you were a worm, you had to be afraid of the bird. And when you were a bird, you had to be afraid of the bigger birds, or the human birds, or if they were around. So you had to be on the lookout in case something was coming to eat you. And this became very deep in the consciousness, the need to be on the lookout in case something's going wrong, in order to be able to survive, to protect yourself. So the bird from time to time has to remember to look around. And the worm from time to time has to remember to go down under the earth and not be the prey for the bird. So we too, we keep remembering from time to time that something may be going wrong, when in fact we don't need to. We are in Plum Village, we are safe, most of the time we're quite safe. And so when you smile, it reminds yourself, I've nothing to worry about. And that helps you to relax. The muscles on your face will be relaxed. And then the rest of your body will relax also. So the beginning of relaxation, it can be your gentle smile. In the dimension of space and time, how dreadful that we eat each other. Eating I maintain compassion alive, to take all beings to the other shore. In the dimension of space and time, I chew in rhythm with my breath, maintaining the life of all my ancestors, offering an upward path for descendants. These are two gathas that you can use when you are eating. So now I'm going to make a little digression from starting from relaxing the body and eating each other. In the dimension of space and time, I chew in rhythm with my breath, maintaining the life of all my ancestors, offering an upward path to descendants. So this means that while you are enjoying a meal, you can also enjoy your breathing. And you can notice how many chew you do to an in-breath and how many chews you do to an out-breath, in order to be able to stay with the food and not have to turn on the NST program, the non-stop thinking program, while you eat. Maintaining the life of all my ancestors. This is a wonderful way. If you lost your mother, if you lost your father, you lost your grandmother or your grandfather, whenever you eat, you know their life is continuing in me and I'm eating for them. And maybe they never ate tofu, and now they eat tofu for the first time in me. So life continues in a wonderful way. And then, as I eat, I want to transmit something. I'm receiving the food to nourish me, but at the same time, I want to be able to nourish the world. I want to send out something in the world that is nourishing for the world. So that is offering an upward path to descendants. I want to be able to use my life to help my younger sisters, and you as parents and grandparents, you want to be able to show a beautiful way for your children and your grandchildren. And you can do that while you are eating. And if you have a sister or a brother or child or grandchild who is not doing very well, then while you chew, while you eat, you can send your love to that person. You can send your compassion to that person as you eat. This is nourishing your spirit as well as your body. And then, after that, in the dimension of space and time, how dreadful that we eat each other. Eating, I maintain compassion alive to take all beings to the other shore. So this morning, or when you eat your piece of bread, and you see the wheat growing in the field, and then they have to harvest the wheat, how many little insects have to die when they harvest the wheat. So even though you are a vegan, you cannot help but taking the life. When you eat, you have to take the life of other beings. And of course, then also when we see the bird eat the worm, we don't feel very comfortable. And we know that we have to accept this. This is a fact about our life, how we can survive. We have to eat each other. But we have to remind ourselves when we eat to keep compassion alive. That is, first of all, we feel our compassion for ourselves. We feel our compassion for the insect that had to die when the food was being produced for us. And at the same time, we vow that we will go as much as we can in the direction of protecting life, even though we cannot do it perfectly. So that is also a practice for us to use when we eat something, whenever we eat. And we know that there's always something we can do a little bit better to save a few more lives. So it's a never-ending path of protecting life. So now we come to the next 4 breathings. These are the breathings that are suggested by the Buddha in a wonderful teaching the Buddha gave. It's called Anapanasati. And sati means mindfulness, and ana means breathing in, and apana means breathing out. So mindfulness of breathing in and out teaching. So first of all, we were talking about the breathing as it relates to our body. And now, these next 4 exercises, we are talking about the breathing as it relates to our feelings. Because we're not just body, we're also feelings. And we have feelings at any moment of the day. So before we said that we are always on the lookout, or very often on the lookout for what is going wrong. So we have to also be on the lookout for what is going right. And that is why the Buddha teaches us that we experience joy when we breathe in, and we experience happiness when we breathe in and out. And these are exercises that we can easily do when we are sitting or when we are lying, but we should also try and do when we are engaged in everyday activities. Just like mindful breathing, when you're washing your dishes, when you're brushing your teeth, when you are eating, when you are urinating, when you are defecating, all these are opportunities for you to breathe, to be in touch with your body. So with the feelings, it's the same. We can breathe and we can feel joy. If you are doing breathings in this kind of order, and you just practice relaxing your body, you will recognize that relaxing your body gives you a feeling of joy, gives you a pleasant feeling in your body. So joy is related to pleasant feelings. Of course, you can have a pleasant feeling from something that is not good for you. Someone who is addicted to cigarettes, if they smoke, they have a pleasant feeling. But that doesn't mean to say it's good for them to smoke cigarettes. So when we have a pleasant feeling, a feeling of joy, we also have to know that that feeling of joy is nourishing us. Or if it's not nourishing us, it's not good for us. So we often have feelings of joy that in fact that joy is not really good for us. So we eat one ice cream, we have pleasant feeling, cools us down. The Chinese doctor told me, don't ever eat ice cream in the summer. You can only eat ice cream in the winter. Because if you eat ice cream in the summer, your body very hot, the ice cream is very cold. The two things are not in harmony with each other. It's not good for you. Anyway, so you have a second ice cream. Because the first ice cream brings you a feeling of pleasure, of joy. But it's not good for you. So we have to know what is the feeling of joy that really nourishes my body and my mind, and experience that kind of joy. So when we practice in our sitting meditation, we may feel that, oh, having a relaxed body is really bringing me a lot of joy. So breathing in, we need to say, we shouldn't just say, breathing in, I feel joy. We have to say, breathing in, I feel the joy of. And then we have to fill in the of. What comes after the of? I feel the joy of being relaxed. Breathing out, I feel the joy of being relaxed. And we can try and find what are the things that bring us joy? Breathing in, I feel the joy of seeing my little child, or I feel the joy of seeing that little child. So fresh, so innocent, it nourishes me to see the child, and I feel joy. And that joy is connected. I have eyes. I have eyes to see the child. I have ears to hear the child. So breathing in, I feel the joy of having eyes. I feel the joy of having ears. And then there are the other kinds of joy, like when you have your eyes closed in sitting meditation, you can also, breathing in, I feel the joy of letting go. In my sitting meditation, I've been able to let go of my worries about the future, my regrets about the past, and so I feel joy. Breathing in, I feel the joy of letting go. So all of us, we have what is called the seed of joy. It is there in all of us. Everyone has the potential, the capacity for joy. But we need a seed, it needs a potential, it needs to have other causes and conditions to make it grow, to make it available in the present moment. And that is those causes and conditions we have to add sometimes. If we see, I don't have enough joy in my life, we need to find ways to help the joy to grow more. Of course we have suffering. We talk about that this morning. And we don't want to throw away our suffering. We don't want to repress our suffering. But on the other hand, we have joy, and we want to develop our joy. And the Buddha saw clearly that human beings have two things they need to do. One is to keep alive, to develop the joy and the happiness. The joy and the happiness that are true joy and true happiness. Because the world we live in needs that. When you go to work and you can smile, a real smile to your colleagues, that will change their day. The world needs our smile. The world needs our happiness, our joy. So it is our responsibility to nourish that joy, to nourish that happiness. So we need to practice in our sitting meditation, breathing in, I feel the joy of, and then fill in what the of is. And if you have time, you have nothing more important to do, and you have a pen and you have a paper, you may like to write down the joy of, and you fill in all the things that come after of. And then it'll be easy for you at any time to help to nourish that joy. And I don't know whether they asked us in the teens program to give up our iPhone or whatever we have, or all the other thing, the electronic equipment that we rely on to give us certain feelings or to cover up certain feelings. Sometimes in a retreat we ask you, give it up. At the beginning of the retreat, you stick your name on it and then give it up to somebody. You get it back at the end. And then we have many opportunity to find out what are the things that bring us real joy. Maybe a peaceful step, a peaceful breath. It can bring us an experience of very deep joy. Being in the present moment with nowhere to go, nothing to do, can bring us happiness. So sometimes we need to let go of something in order to have the joy and happiness. And very often the thing we feel, if I don't have that, if I can't have that, there's no way I can be happy. Do you sometimes have that feeling? If you do, you can let it go. And you will see that there are many other things that can bring you joy and happiness. And if you are caught in thinking, if I don't have that, I can't be happy, you are blocking yourself off from feeling happy because of other things that can make you happy. Somebody once said to me, if I don't have that car to drive to retreats, I can't be happy. I really need a car. My husband, he likes our old car, but that car, it cannot drive to Plum Village. So what I really need to be happy is to have a new car so I can drive to Plum Village. But then you have to say to the person, is it really the car you need, or is it really Plum Village you need? And then the person has to think and say, it's not the car, it's Plum Village. And then I can go in someone else's car or go on the train or something. So that is taking care of our joy and happiness. And you will see that that is half of the matter, 50%. But then you will see the other half of the matter is number 7 and 8. And any feeling to be a happy feeling, it must have peace in it. True joy and true happiness, they contain peace. So if your feeling is not very peaceful, even though it's joyful, then it's not true joy. It's not the real happiness. And another thing I want to say is that why do we bother to have 2 breathings, one for joy and one for happiness? That is because in Sanskrit and Pali, we have 2 different words, one for joy and one for happiness. And really, nobody really knows what the difference between them is, except the Buddha gave an example, and he said joy is when you're walking in the desert, you're very thirsty, and you see some greenery in the distance, and you know there must be water there. There must be an oasis. So you feel joy. At least I'm going to survive if I can get to the oasis. And you have the energy to go on and walk to the oasis. And then when you get there, it's a spring coming up from the earth with cool water. And you bend down, you drink that water, and that is happiness. So joy is keep us going, and happiness is the complete fulfillment. So that is the difference between the 2. And from time to time, you feel that you walk, and from time to time you touch joy as you walk. You're really there in the present moment. And then you find you're walking, there's no thinking, you don't have to make any effort. And that is a very deep happiness. You're right there in the present moment, you don't have any want for anything more. You fully enjoy, you don't have to make any effort to be mindful. And that is happiness. So these are the things we need to nourish. And these are the things we need to take care. This is the other 50%. And here we say experiencing the feeling. And we've talked about, in Buddhism usually we talk about 3 kinds of feeling. And then Thai say 4 kinds, but you can have 20 kinds, 100 kinds of feeling. Don't quote a number. Today we're going to talk about 3 kinds of feeling. And here we have the pleasant feeling, and here we have 2 kinds of feeling. One is called the neutral feeling, and the other is called the unpleasant feeling, the painful feeling. So, nowadays I believe they talk about bypassing feelings. I don't know, but I heard that yesterday. So don't bypass your unpleasant feeling. Do experience your unpleasant feeling, your neutral feeling, because it wants you to experience it. No one likes to be pushed out of the door, ignored. And feelings are the same. They don't like to be ignored. So we should not ignore our unpleasant, our painful feeling. We should practice mere recognition. Here comes an unpleasant feeling. Maybe it goes along with a memory that comes up in you. Maybe you hear something, you see something that gives you an unpleasant feeling. And you have the tendency you want to bypass it. That means you want to go to the refrigerator and find something sweet to eat because that will give you a pleasant feeling. Or you want to turn on the television, pick up a magazine, call somebody you don't really need to call, or get in your car and drive somewhere, just in order to be able to avoid being in touch with your unpleasant feeling. But it may be better just to sit there or walk in nature and experience the unpleasant feeling that is coming up. And if you can do that, you can embrace that feeling, then you will be able to bring into that feeling some peace. And now the feeling which before made you feel agitated, now it has a few drops of peace in it. That is the last practice. So I experience the feeling, and then with my peaceful breathing, I help the feeling to become more peaceful. So feelings, they are connected with something, as we said before, with memory very often, with something that our eyes contact or our ears contact. And they are also connected with something we call Vasana. It sometimes translated as habit energy, but basically it means a perfume or a flavor. Many of the things we eat, we have a flavor from that, not just because of our taste bud, but also because of our nose. The flavors come from our nose. So, some food you eat, you enjoy the flavor, you have a pleasant feeling. Some food you don't enjoy the flavor, you have an unpleasant feeling. It's the same with memory. People aren't really sure how memory works, but it is connected with vasana. It's connected with a certain flavor. So some memories have a certain flavor. It's not the same as the flavor of kiwi, but they have a flavor that is unpleasant. When you have that memory, there's an unpleasant flavor that goes with it. And some memories, a pleasant flavor goes with that particular memory. And sometimes the flavor arises before the memory. Well, not exactly the whole memory, Because the whole memory is not just the flavor. It could be concepts, it could be thoughts, words. Also it could be images, sounds. But always the flavor is there. And if you are a skilled practitioner, then you have to recognize when these memories, when the flavor comes, and recognize what memory it is associated with, and then what feeling it's associated with. And so you can deal with a memory before it becomes complete, and then it's easier to deal with. When the flavor just begins to come up, before the whole memory is there, you can already begin to breathe and recognize the feeling and take care of the feeling. And begin to make it peaceful. Because the quality of our life is dependent upon the kind of flavors that come up with our memories. And vasana is sometimes called karma vasana. And karma means action. And every action we do has a flavor. And the memory of that action will bring about the flavor again. So when we say a kind word to somebody, it has a flavor. And that can heal us and can heal the other person. And when we say something out of irritation, it has a flavor. And it can harm us. And it can harm others. So all our actions of body, speech and mind have a flavor. And our thought is the same. If you have a loving thought, it has a flavor. And that flavor is good for you, good for your health, and is good for the other person. Even though you haven't said anything, it has already gone out into the world. So we recognize how our feelings are connected to the different flavors of our action. And this will help us to act in a skillful way with our body, feelings, and mind. And finally, when we already have the unpleasant feeling, we need to take care of it and with peaceful breathing help it to be peaceful. Apart from the painful feeling, we have what is called the neutral feeling. And neutral feelings have to be experienced, and they have to be made peaceful also. Neutral. So say that you are sitting on the grass, you're really enjoying your breathing, and your little boy or girl is with you and says, "Mummy, how long do we have to sit here? Can we go and do something else?" Because he or she is bored. And boredom is connected with a neutral feeling. Maybe mother or father who is sitting on the grass have very pleasant feeling. It's so wonderful to not have to do anything, to just sit here and enjoy the fresh air. But the little girl or the little boy is bored. There's nothing pleasant and nothing painful. So we're very often in that situation as adults. We don't have a pleasant feeling, we don't have a painful feeling. We're just wondering when we can go and do something else because there's nothing to give us pleasure or pain. And one time I was sitting on the beach with Thai, and we were with a lot of meditators, practitioners on retreat, and Thai said to me, "What are these practitioners doing?" So I said something stupid like looking at the sea. Well, Thai can see that they're looking at the sea. Thai doesn't need to ask me that question. What are they doing? Thai has two good eyes and can see everyone's looking at the sea. So that Thai said that's not the right answer. So I said to Thai, what is the right answer? Because I didn't know. And then Thai said, they are transforming neutral feeling into pleasant feelings. So the idea that, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? Or what am I going to do next is a neutral feeling. But then you say to yourself, why not just transform this neutral feeling, the energy of this neutral feeling? Enjoy the sound of the waves, enjoy the company of everyone else, and then the neutral feeling goes and it's transformed into a pleasant feeling. So that is making it peaceful and it is making it happy. Neutral feelings always can be turned into pleasant feelings. But if we don't practice, that's the next question. Then I asked Thai, after Thai said that they are doing that, transforming neutral feeling into pleasant feeling, I said to Thai, how are they doing it? Because I want to do it too. Huh? How are they doing it? And Thai said, how do you think? So I said, maybe they're thinking. And Thai said, no, they're not thinking. It's by awareness. By awareness, you change a neutral feeling into a pleasant feeling. So all they have to do is be aware. Sitting on the sand, listening to the waves is enough to make me have a pleasant feeling. If we don't do that, then our neutral feeling will turn into an unpleasant feeling. Neutral feeling. What can I do next? Oh, I can't do that. It's an unpleasant feeling. What can I do next? Oh, I have to go and do my homework. It's unpleasant feeling. So that is the problem with neutral feelings. They can, if we don't have mindfulness, they turn into unpleasant feelings. So your breathing is your chance to be able to do the transformation. And breathing is for our enjoyment. It's not, we say, you have to follow your breathing in Plum Village, and then you think this is a task I have to do, this is hard work I have to do. No. Your breathing is like the cool breeze that comes from the cloud on a hot day. It's there. It's the treasure that is within you, and it's there for you to enjoy whenever you want it.